Imagine you're on holiday abroad and while snorkeling you pick up a marine species. You then travel all the way back home and decide to put the species back into the sea. If this is outside of its normal range, this is a non-native species. Now imagine that this species began to breed and outcompete with the native species in its new area. This would now be an invasive species. The key distinction here is that while both species are found outside of their natural range, invasive species have actual detrimental effects on their new ecosystems. But how do species move outside their native ranges in the first place? Introduction pathways can either be accidental, intentional, or driven by climate change. Accidental pathways include transportation through ballast water, which are large water tanks used to stabilize boats during journeys. These physically capture species and place them in non-native ecosystems. Intentional pathways include using species for pest control or in the aquarium trade. This can include importing exotic species which invade local ecosystems if released. Facilitated pathways include ocean warming, which can alter the migratory pattern of species and increase their abundance.
As invasive species are successful in a new environment, they interact with the native ecology, causing habitat changes. North America and South Africa have experienced increased predation on native species by the invasive European shore crab. Additionally, long-spined black sea urchins graze on seaweeds, creating barren habitats. In California, these effects are evident due to the purple sea urchin, which produces quickly due to the lack of natural predators. These habitat changes can force out native species and have detrimental impacts on native ecosystems.
One of the most visible invasive marine species around the UK is the Pacific oyster. To tell us more about their effect, we spoke to Chris Sharp, who leads a local conservation effort to manage their populations and report the data back to national environmental groups. He first told us what the problem was locally.
Pacific oysters are a non-native species that have become feral on the intertidal shores of the Fowl and Helfer. They are massively impacting on the biodiversity, and they impact on the marine infrastructure as well. So they grow very, very fast and effectively, much more so than the naturals. They're presenting a real problem on the shoreline.
Managing invasive species is challenging and costly due to the size of our oceans, but is essential for ending nature loss. Most plans focus on reducing invasive species so they are no longer harmful. International laws, like ballast water monitoring, help to prevent non-native species from spreading through the shipping industry. As of 2017, these laws require all ships to have a ballast water plan, record book, and certificate to minimise impact. Anti-fouling paint on a ship's hull prevents marine organisms from sticking and helps stop invasive species. However, it can chip off and release harmful chemicals into the water.
It's important not to feel helpless. Luckily, there are lots of smaller steps that we can all take to manage invasive species. You can get involved with local management schemes like the Oyster Project, and you can check for local groups to submit sightings too. Invasive species in the marine realm are a growing issue, but individual and collective action combined can help mitigate their effect.